Let me tell you about our sneaking away weekend. I'm James, the oldest of four, and it was my idea to sneak out while Mom and Dad were away. It was Friday evening, and we all sat around the dining table. Mom, Dad, me, Emily, Ryan, and Daniel. We were joking around as usual and talking about our video games and, you know, just the normal stuff when Dad interrupted. Your mother and I have decided to take a weekend getaway. We'll be leaving tomorrow morning and won't be back until Sunday evening, Jack said, his eyes reflecting a mix of excitement and worry about the children alone. Sounds like a plan, Dad, Emily said. It's time you took some alone time. You sure you kids are going to be okay? Wendy asked. You know we will, Mom, replied Ryan. We're not babies. Go have fun. We'll be okay. Saturday morning, Mom and Dad packed the car and off they went, leaving the house in our hands. As the front door closed behind them, we exchanged glances, an unspoken agreement passing between us. We smiled and decided to seize the opportunity for a one-night camping adventure, not sure where yet, but we'll know when we get there. I took the keys to Mom's car and the four of us piled in and left. We took only the necessities, a tent, change of clothes, and some food. As we drove, the street lights flashing over the car, I suddenly stopped. This is where we're going, I said. Where? What? Daniel asked. You'll see, I said. Follow me. We got out of the car and walked down the street. I stopped and pointed at a manhole. No way, Emily exclaimed. Wait, you'll see, I said as I pulled open the manhole cover. There was a steel stairway leading to the bottom, and I started climbing down. James, Ryan shouted. Come on down, let's see what we can find, I said, and the rest of them started descending into the sewer. When we reached the bottom, I looked around. Oh, hell no. What is that smell? Emily asked. It's a sewer, Ems. What did you expect? A bouquet of roses? Emily ignored me, and we walked down one of the sewer passages. There were dim lights, which made it creepier because it casted unwanted shadows that I could do without right now. Way down the one tunnel towards the end, it faded into darkness. Our nervous laughter echoed through the tunnels. If I knew what was down here, I would rather have taken us camping, I thought as we walked in silence. The water swooshed under our feet. I swear I felt a mouse against my leg. Somewhere in the darkness I heard soft, low growls. Daniel grabbed onto Ryan's arm, terrified of the sounds and the eerie darkness around him. Get off me, you freak, Ryan scolded him. Daniel let go of Ryan's arm and clung to the wall to steady himself. We maneuvered through the tunnels for hours. In one of the tunnels we found cans of opened cool drink. Someone else was down here, I thought to myself. Turning one corner, right in front of me, stuck to the wall, was a skull. I jumped back a few steps and pointed to the thing. Is that a real skull? Ryan asked. No, I don't think so, Emily said, and we continued walking. Strange sounds echoed in the distance. There were growls and squawks coming from all sides. Something is down here. I grew uneasy, then turned around and said to the others, I think we have company. Stay close together. Where the hell is Daniel? Emily and Ryan looked around, but Daniel was nowhere to be seen. Suddenly, Emily let out a blood-curdling scream. Her body fell backwards and she struggled to keep her head above water. What is it, Ems? I shouted. Something wrapped itself around my ankle. It's pulling me into the tunnels, she said. I saw her floating in the dark, dirty sewer water, screaming. Both Ryan and I ran through the water, Daniel long forgotten. I reached her first, grabbed her arms, and started pulling. Another scream came from the other side of the tunnel. Daniel, I thought. I had no idea if I should stay and help Emily or turn back and find Daniel. Ryan took hold of Emily's one arm while I pulled at the other. Emily was kicking violently, trying to get this thing off her ankle. A long tentacle emerged from the water and dropped on her head. I jumped forward and pulled and hit and bit at the tentacle. All the while, Emily was underwater, struggling frantically. Ryan ran to her feet and started unwinding the tentacle around her ankle. Finally, she was free. "Run, Emily!" I shouted as she got up, water pouring from her clothing. She ran towards the nearest stairs and started climbing up. As Ryan stood up, a creature with dark gray blackish skin, long arms and long teeth stood behind him. My eyes widened and Ryan's gaze followed mine. Some ugly-looking creature stood right behind him. As we screamed, the creature leaped onto Ryan. Emily rushed down from the stairs and fought her way through the water. I reached under water, feeling along the bed of grime, and felt a long pipe, curled my hand around it and brought it up. I started beating the back of the creature, trying to get him off Ryan. "He's bleeding," Emily said. "I think he could be bitten." Ryan screamed in pain as I continued beating at the creature. It let go of Ryan and turned towards me. My heart sank to my shoes. With its long, scrawny arm, it curled its hand around my waist, lifting me up towards its chest. The creature flung me into the water with all its strength, knocking the wind from my sails. I surfaced and gasped for air, only to find his foot come down on me. I kicked and flung my arms, trying to free myself. Emily got hold of the pipe and hit the creature over the head. It staggered backwards, blood oozing from its head. It took its foot off my body and fled down the tunnel. As I started floating upward to the surface, I saw Daniel's face in front of me. I reached the surface, coughing up water. Emily helped me up and we both headed to the metal stairs. We slowly climbed up and one by one climbed through the manhole. I collapsed on the tarmac, still unable to breathe properly. Daniel and Ryan were both already sitting waiting for Ems and me. We walked back to the car and drove home in silence, each engulfed in our own thoughts. It was late in the evening. Mom and Dad should be home by now. I parked the car, helped Daniel and Ryan out, and then walked to the other side of the car to help Emily. "I feel a bit strange," Emily said. "Me too," Ryan echoed. "I noticed my backpack wasn't in the car. I must have left it behind." We opened the front door, quickly said hello to Mom and Dad, and hurried to my room. All of us, except Daniel, sat on the floor. Daniel was lying on my bed. He didn't look too good. We spoke about our adventure in the sewer and agreed between us not to tell Mom and Dad. I heard the doorbell ring and voices downstairs. I softly ran down to see who it was visiting so late. It was the police. They were talking to Mom and Dad, and all I heard was Mom say, "No, they wouldn't do that. It can't be." Her voice was getting louder and louder, and she was getting more excited. The police shook hands with Mom and Dad and then left. Mom started crying, and Dad put his arm around her. He looked a bit pale. I went back upstairs and told the others about the cops. "Do you think someone saw us climbing out and called the cops?" "I don't know, Jay. Maybe. I just know we are in a lot of trouble." We heard footsteps coming up the stairs. Damn, I guess they found out after all. We'll have to face the music. Mom walked into my room. She didn't say one word. She just sat down on the foot of my bed, looking straight at me without blinking. "I'm sorry, Mom. We just wanted to have some fun." She ignored me, got up and left the room, closing the door behind her. Later, I heard the news on the TV. We all walked downstairs and stood behind Mom and Dad's couch as they watched the news report. It said, 4 teenagers were found brutally attacked in the downtown sewer. 2 of them drowned and one had his shoulder bitten off, causing him to bleed to death. The other one, an 18-year-old female, was found with a tentacle wrapped around her neck. Our condolences go out to the family of the deceased. We looked at each other. It took a minute to realize what was going on. Mom sat on my bed but ignored me when I apologized. Now I understand. She couldn't hear me. We are all dead. We hugged each other, turned, and all at the same time said, "Bye, Mom. Bye, Dad. We are so sorry." And then I felt my body rising upward.